Here are the 10 most ridiculous Hulk Hogan quotes that fans find laughable and memorable, whether it's due to exaggeration, confusion, or just plain old Hulk Hogan style embellishment, because WWE fans, we've been accustomed to seeing Hulk Hogan do various interviews over the years and just flat out either lie or just make things up. There are countless things that have been absolutely brilliant by this man because they're just flat out wrong. So, with no further ado, let's get into them. Number 10, I am a real American, fight for the right of every man. Another line from his theme song, but one Hogan used repeatedly to represent himself as the ultimate hero. Over time, this phrase became more humorous and a reminder of his exaggeration of patriotism and wrestling persona, because let's face it, Hulk Hogan, he is far from an American hero. Number 9, Hogan, he tried to create a new catchphrase in his older years, which was, "Be cool, eat fruit." That was his most common phrase in interviews and social media. This was towards the end of his run, think the TNA days, but he tried to pull it off in the early 2010s, but it just didn't work out. It didn't have that closing line, if you will. Number 7, I saw Kevin Owens in NXT. Everybody I talked to in WWE wasn't really high on him like I was. Yeah, Kevin Owens, a.k.a. Kevin Steen, making a name for himself in ROH prior to going to WWE. He was brought in as a notable guy right away. A squash match in his opening contest at a takeover event before turning on his best friend Sami Zayn and being pushed to the moon on his rise to NXT champion and going on to do big things on the main roster. But it was Hulk Hogan who saw the first in Kevin Owens, who saw the man that he could become. It was Kevin Owens and Hulk Hogan. That is the winning combination to the Hulkster. I've fought 400 matches this year alone, brother. In an interview, Hogan would often exaggerate his workload to the point where it was impossible. Claims like this one has left fans scratching their heads and laughing at the absurdity. Him going back and forth with Japan, counting days, doubling days. It's always been Hulk Hogan, just absolute, over-the-top, unbelievable type things, and just fans just absolutely laughing at it. Classic one, because Hulk Hogan has always been known for his rivalries with the likes of Andre the Giant, Randy Savage, Paul Orndorff, Goldberg, you name it. He has literally wrestled the who's who in this business, but once he said, "I slammed the 900-pound giant." Hogan, he often exaggerated his iconic slam on Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3, and the weight of Andre seemed to increase every time that he told the story, adding layers of comedy in each retelling. I mean, he's famously said that he didn't know if Andre was going to put him over that night. He was worried, and he kept asking Vince McMahon, "Is he going to put me over? Is the boss going to put me over?" And Vince would be like, "Well, we'll see." Andre not wanting to go over the match, him severely injuring his back when he did the slam, even though he has done the slam multiple times leading up to this match, and we've seen old archive footage of Andre being slammed 100 times. Like, Hogan went at it again. Next one makes me laugh every single time. Hulkamaniacs, say your prayers, take your vitamins, and you'll never be wrong. Although the iconic, this quote turned out ridiculous over the years as Hogan kept adding Hulkamania rules. Fans couldn't help but laugh at the ever-growing list of Hulkamania commandments, right? And then later years, him admitting that he did steroids, is just like, classic Hogan. This one made me fall out of my chair laughing. I had to compete with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone for action movie roles. The Rock doesn't have that competition today. Look, Hogan, he has tried his hand multiple times in acting, really never going that far. He wasn't really good, and he didn't get the greatest roles, but he tried. But to compare his Hollywood career to The Rock and the competition in which they both had to face was absolutely laughable, because The Rock, he's one of, if not the biggest movie star in all of Hollywood, and his movies compared to Hogan's movies, and his success in Hollywood compared to Hogan's success, not even close. The Rock is on a different level in a different stratosphere compared to Hulk Hogan. Last but not least, I was shooting steroids for 20 years and now I'm a machine. Hogan's bluntness about his past steroid use and machine comment raised eyebrows and added to the over-the-top persona by the Hulkster. Like I've previously said, Hogan, he has admitted that he's done steroids in the past. Although it was a different time and a different place, because you could just go to a doctor and they would give you steroids and it was a no big deal type of situation. They didn't know the risks of what steroids can do long term and etc. But now that we know and going back, it's very easy to see when Hogan was on it and when Hogan wasn't on it. Oh, we have one more, and I just want to throw this in as a bonus because it's hands down probably the greatest tweet known to mankind. It was when he had a legendary tweet that almost went so ridiculous that it was hard to believe. You've seen it, I've seen it, and it makes you laugh every single time. He said, "Good night, Hulkamaniacs and jabroni marks without a life that doesn't know when it's a work when you work a work and work yourself into a shoot marks." Look, this was during his TNA days. Obviously, Hogan, he wasn't clicking on all cylinders. He was going through a ton of back injury issues. He was going through his marriage falling apart and divorce. His son had legal issues. He was heavily drinking. It was very, very well known, public, documented. Access TV did a interview with him around that time, and he openly talked about his issues. But this tweet was absolutely hilarious because it's like, Hogan probably shouldn't have tweeted that night, but he went ahead and did so, and so you just kind of roll with the punches.